Good morning and welcome into the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show. I am your host, and what a gorgeous day it is, starting things off. In fact, some people were a little chilly, had a light jacket on this morning, some in the upper 40s, most of us in the 50s. We're going to give you that forecast, breaking this trend that we've had over the last couple of days of feeling like we're in California. As we get into the weekend, you're going to need that umbrella. You're going to need more of a light jacket raincoat, as yes, rain is coming over the weekend and actually into next week. It's going to be sticky and humid. We've got highs that will be near 90. We'll give you that forecast coming up in just a second. I just want to welcome you all in, give you a chance to pop on here this morning, say hi to the community. That's one of the things that started over the last several months. Everyone's saying hi to each other. They love this community they've built. I met some wonderful people last night downtown or in the city, and we went to the fabulous Fox Theater, went to see MJ the musical, and I'm going to give you a review of that. I'm just saying I still have to pull my jaw off the ground. Maybe the most remarkable show I have ever seen. I felt like I was transcended to actually see Michael Jackson in concert. Blown away. And the guy that we were supposed to interview earlier this week, I'll tell you all about that, wasn't even in the performance last night. This was actually the alternate. And I would love to try to get him on. We're talking about interviewing one of the tour dancers who actually has a tie into St. Louis sometime tomorrow. So we're still working on that for you. So we'll actually take that into next week and continue to talk about it because the run of MJ the Musical goes into next weekend. Let me know if you have tickets to that. Let me know if you've been thinking of going. Stop thinking, buy the tickets immediately. It's all I have to say. So I'll be giving you a review of that. We've got news you can use as well as sports. And then we're going to talk about perfectionism today. It's a topic that I've been asked to bring back up into the show a lot. And then it played out on stage last night. And I just kept hearing the words from God, do that, do that. Somebody or several people need to hear that. Well, welcome aboard. Thank you so much. If you can do us a favor, just as you're seeing on the bottom of the screen, share, like, follow every single one of our shows. If you're new to the show, welcome. We've been doing this almost for a year in our studios, but a year and a couple of months right here from home. Our studios are in Brentwood, by the way, Mondays and Tuesdays. That's where we have our shows with our guests. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes we have guests that join us virtually from all over the United States. Can't wait for a viral TikTok influencer to join us coming up next month. If you haven't followed him, I want you to. Russell Dancing UPS Man. He provides so much joy and happiness to people all around the world just through his dancing and sometimes his lip syncing that he does. We're going to talk about the happiness he provides, but we're also going to talk about him being scammed and what happened that was way too close to home. He's going to join me, Russell Butler, June 13th. Can't wait for that one. So remember, when you're thinking of people you would like for us to have on the show, if you have a link to him, great, some kind of a tie to him. If not, just reach out and let me know that there's somebody that's bringing you joy, because that's what this show is about. More optimism, more positivity. Yeah, sometimes we do talk about the hard things going on in life, like we will here shortly coming up in the news. But for the most part, we want to say, if we bring you the negativity of the news, what can we do about it as human beings? It's not just to lay it out there. Met a wonderful couple last night when we went to dinner before the Fox, and she and I got really deep into the discussion of what the news provides to the world on a detriment. And the reason why she stopped watching, she's like, I still want to support your old teammates there at 5 and 2, but it just gets very, very difficult when that's what's provided for your life. And I said, I get it. And that's why I want you to watch the show. So of course, I'm always very big in promoting what we do. And that's what I'm hoping you can do for us as well. All right, we got a lot to talk about today, but let's start off with your weather. And we want to thank, before we have our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore join us tomorrow, thank Matt Chambers for this 7-day forecast from KMOV. Today, as I said, take it all in, do some outside activities, whatever you can. It is going to be 81 degrees and literally feel like you are in Southern California. 61 for your low tonight. Tomorrow, as you can see, we do have PM rain and thunder showers. Now, what I was listening to this morning, it's more to the west, like we talking about Rolla and Warrenton. If you travel into more western counties, you might experience the thunder shower or the rain pop up. But here in St. Louis, not expecting a lot of it. 82, though, for your high, 63 for the low. And then we get into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Matt's got a little bit of rain in each one of those. You see the 40% chance of rain likely, afternoon, evening rain, also slight chance of that on Saturday with a high of 78. 85 for your Sunday high, mostly dry time though, but a slight chance of some afternoon rain. 87, we told you it's going to be sticky and near 90 degrees. 87, 88, 87 for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, respectively. And a good chance, 50% chance for Monday, 30% chance Tuesday, and a 40% chance of rain and storms on Wednesday. We will be following up with our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore tomorrow as he takes us into the weekend, and we'll see if any of those chances of rain have shifted just a little bit. Let me say good morning as you're popping on. Kathleen Morris, Sean Fitzgerald, Julie Purcell, Linda Eckert. Perfect day. Well, isn't that interesting? The word perfection. Let's stick with that one as we get into the heart of the show. Do we want to strive for perfection, or how difficult is it to try to ever reach that, as well as the detriment that you do to yourself and those around you? We'll get into that here shortly. Julie Fabian, good morning to you. Kathy, she said, great show. Yeah, Julie, I wish I would have been able to meet up with you last night. Kathy Holden Reed, good morning. Another beautiful day. Good morning, everyone from Rose. Kathy Anselmo says, beautiful morning. Pam Miller, good morning to you. Michelle Harmon, good morning. Waking up. For those of you that are on Instagram, let's see. Chris Kissel said, I like watching your local news show to know what is going on in St. Louis. Well, Chris, I'm going to give you a little bit of that. I'm not going to give you full-blown news. We just sprinkle in what I think you want to know about, or what I think a lot of people are talking about. So if it's a talker that is heartbreaking, which this one is, then it is, again, what do you want to weigh in on it? What can be done? How do these things happen? Okay. Have you heard about this in the news? So there were second-degree murder charges that were originally filed against this woman, Ashley Parmalee, but those charges have been upgraded to first-degree murder charges. I don't know if you've heard about this story, but it's absolutely heartbreaking. These are the two children. I'm going to go away from her and focus more on these children. So this is a really difficult story, and it's going to be hard, and some people might want to just kind of walk away for a second. They may not want to hear this. It might be too heartbreaking to start your day, but I want to know, how does this even happen? So if you haven't heard this story, let me take you back a couple days. Jefferson County community had a vigil last night honoring the lives of those two young children who were senselessly killed on Tuesday. Now, their fathers were also in the mourning and the loss of the midst of the heartbreak. Obviously, everybody there gathering last night at the vigil saying, why? How does this ever happen? And that is where I just got my chill, because that is what I want to discuss. These stories are out there, and I don't want to act like these things are not going on. I'm not acting like the world's all about, again, puppies and rainbows and happiness. I know that we try to get ourselves there, but then we see these horrible things happening. So feel free to weigh in on this and how it makes you feel. Angry? Talk about it. Fear? Talk about it. Scared? Yes. Why? How? This is supposed to be your mom, your protector. She was wanted, and so was Isaac, her brother. He was wanted. It's just not fair. That was a comment last night from the Twin City assistant softball coach, Jamie Odell. They held that vigil there on the field where that young girl was supposed to have a game last night. She was supposed to play in that game. To remember their lives, a prayer vigil was held at the Twin City softball field. That was in Crystal City, by the way. The team played in honor of their 9-year-old teammate who was murdered along with her brother. Wednesday, St. Francis County also charged Ashley Parmalee of Festus with first-degree murder for the shooting death of her 9-year-old daughter, Scarlett. The 36-year-old facing first-degree murder charges after she admitted to drowning her 2-year-old son, Isaac, on Tuesday. When I got in the car, I was listening to KMOX on Tuesday in the afternoon, and I didn't know what I was listening to. Unfortunately, the on-air host didn't do a recap, so I was completely I'm in the blue of what are they talking about? And I just heard them say how the community is trying to pick up, the community is trying to make sense of this all. And they said something about that she was still wet. And I thought, what are they talking about? And they didn't do a recap. Like I said, well, they were talking about the mother, again, drowning the son. Parmalee was originally charged with second-degree murder in connection with Isaac's death. But on Wednesday night, the Jefferson County Prosecutor's Office said that they're going to file a first-degree murder charge after she killed both victims. Police say she walked into the Festus Police Department and admitted to what had happened. And I'm not going to go into more details of what my husband told me, how things played out, because it's just things that I don't think you're going to want to hear, but we do need to know about these things. Authorities say she shot Scarlett in St. Francis County, drowned Isaac at Timber Creek Resort near Festus. And Odell, the softball coach, said, and I quote, "That was her little brother and she loved him. And what happened to him was just as devastating." A GoFundMe has been set up for Scarlett's family. Another GoFundMe has also been created for Isaac. I gave both of those GoFundMe pages to Michelle to drop in to our comments, as you see here. That is why I brought it up this morning, because we do, as a community, need to come together and help this family. Those two fathers were devastated. So many tears that I saw from the vigil last night, again in Crystal City, and just the senseless questions of why and how does a mother ever get to this. You want to say again why I want to do this story, because it breaks my heart. Ugh, I knew this was going to happen. There are people who need to hug their children a little bit more today. Hug them before they walk out the door, before they get ready to play with their friends. A lot of them obviously are home from school. They should all be. As they're waking up this morning, I know they might say, "Oh, mom, what are you doing smothering me?" I don't care. Give them more and more and more and tell them, please. I know that we used to be in generations where people didn't say, "I love you." I hope every mother and father does that now. Let them know, make sure that they know. And if even they come back and say, "I get it, mom. I know, I get it." I don't care. Mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, every single person in the family, love on them a little bit more, because this senseless stuff is happening in our world. And for those of us that would have been blessed to have children, if you don't want the kids, give them up to someone. Let somebody else adopt them, but don't take their lives. It pisses me off, okay? I'm just going to say it ticks me off to no end that this happened. I didn't know this was going to make me overcome so much emotion this morning. I knew I was going to do it. And I mainly want to do it because I know these families need help. Those fathers need your assistance. So I need the public to come out and do everything that we possibly can. Click on those links for the GoFundMe. Tell me in the comments what you think we can do. How in the world can we get into people's minds that this is not okay? It's not okay. I understand that mental health is a real issue and depression is a real issue. That is why this show exists, that we talk about every single thing that's out there. We don't hold back on anything. We laugh together. We cry together. We get ticked together. All these things need to happen. So I've got friends and family members that say, "Monica, thank you so much for talking about these real issues." We need to. I'd love to have more co-hosts on with me. And that's something I just want to build with, because I'd like to have a roundtable right now. And since I can't have the roundtable, and since it's just happening, then I'm asking you to be the roundtable. Feel free to comment right now or throughout the show of what in the hell we can do to stop this, because this one's not okay. All right. It's not okay. Julie says, "Monica, it is okay to let your emotions out. We are family here, but we are here for each other. Don't be ashamed." I'm not. I just didn't expect it to happen. And I'm never going to hold back the emotions of tears, mental illness, anger, compassion, so many emotions, Kathy says. What does that feel like to you to hear this? The thing is, in the news department, it was, we wouldn't be able to do this. Okay. That is why I love this show so much, is that these stories I'm going to tell you about, but we're going to do something here. We're going to talk. You're going to tell me how in the world we can stop this senseless thing from happening. There was also a family member up in North County, North St. Louis area, I think. I was just watching right before I had to go on, of a sister, a twin sister, I think it is. And then the girl that was involved with this guy that was involved in another senseless shooting, right? A drive-by shooting. These things keep happening. I've been asked to do a documentary, and I can't wait for this, with COPE 24. What an amazing organization. We're going to be doing that, I hope, coming up in the next few months. They're applying for a grant to be able to do this documentary, and it really has to do with the senseless gun violence. Again, trying to get to the root cause of these things. We talk about medicine a lot, about how, pills and prescriptions are provided to you to mask the pain. Well, this is the same thing, pain, right? There's depression out there. We don't get to the root cause of the problem. People are just put on medication. So I didn't expect this to be a deep talker. I was going to go more into the perfectionism mindset, but maybe that stems from a lot of problems too. Because what I saw last night play out on stage at MJ the Musical, it brought me back to, I had to do a book report or something when I was in grade school, and I chose to do it on Michael Jackson and his family in Gary, Indiana, and what he grew up in. So he kept talking about perfectionism on the stage last night, and it just made me say that that's dangerous. I don't know what caused this woman to do what she did to those children. I don't know what her upbringing was. We don't know. We didn't get into her psyche. I don't know if she should have had counseling, a psychiatrist, a life coach, a counselor, everybody together working on it. I don't know her. I mean, hopefully those things will come out and play out by people who knew them, family members, neighbors that can ever make sense of this. But weigh in. Tell me what you think. You can't help thinking about the Susan Smith story. I know, Rose, that is exactly what I thought. And when I heard that, I thought they were both drowned. And then my husband told me that one was shot. And that child, by the way, from what I understand, when she went to the Festus Police Department, was still in the car. And she said, I just killed my children. Linda said, this is why we need to revisit and discuss anxiety and depression, right? That's a big reason why I think fear and anxiety and depression are always chosen when we're on set with those 100 Days to Freedom books, because that's it. We're trying to get you from that. And if we could have more people be told about this show that we do together, if you spread the kindness and and again, she could have listened to the show and maybe we could have stopped something from happening. And maybe she could have said, I can't deal with these kids. Or maybe a sibling or maybe a family member would have been able to take them away. She could have gone somewhere to get some help for a while. Maybe she could have been brought back to the kids. I don't know. But I need more people to talk about these real world issues. Rose said, I was depressed waking up this morning thinking about stuff going on, especially the mother who murdered her kids. Then I read her uncle killed his parents. Ah, mental illness is real. Did not know that. This is so sad. I just keep shaking my head when I hear the story. Horrible. This little girl was a friend of my great niece. Oh my gosh, so sad. Yeah. Only thing I keep thinking to do is have something such as mental health crisis hotline, kind of like the suicide hotline. And I know that there are organizations out there to help, but the problem is people, I think they're so ashamed that they don't want to say anything about it. And then they don't make the call, Crystal. Yeah, they do. Jen exactly said that. They do have those. More resources need to be available for mental health helplines. Wasn't there one more child that wasn't touched? I don't know. Let me know. National Mental Health Awareness Month. Michelle just posted. COPE 24, yes, again, a wonderful organization. Richard said, oh, Monica, I wish I could give you a hug. You are. I can feel it. Such a sad story. As far as what we could do about it, I don't have the answer for that. There are just some sick people in the world. See, but unfortunately, that's what we keep saying. And then the violence continues because we don't want to do anything about it. We have to. I really, truly, I didn't start this show over a year ago to just bring topics up and then go nowhere with it. I truly need to know the answers. I want to change the world together with you on a massive scale. We need to figure out how we can do that. And it is to talk about this. And it is to put it right here in your face and not stop talking about it. That's the problem. People want to turn away from it, act like it's not happening. I'm not. When I told you I would give you news and news you can use, I usually like the happiness stuff. I like to talk about the businesses that are opening up, the events, the festivals, the spotlights that are out there. A lot of people used to just sprinkle that in and then they would do too much of this. I want to do some of this, but I want to talk about it because in the news, we would just give it to you. And then you would just be so disheartened and you'd be sitting there alone in your house and you wouldn't be able to talk about it because nobody wanted to talk about these things. My heart goes out for the families of the children. So unfair. Amen, Pamela says. So Tiffany's on from Circle 6 Acres. There's my happiness because that woman just makes me smile. Do me a favor, keep an eye on their Facebook pages and their website because they are going to get ready to open up. I mentioned on the show yesterday, they are going to be opening hopefully Father's Day weekend, their new business that will be in that green building, the kickstand building that I call it, in Augusta. So I can't wait for that. We'll be doing a show from their location very, very soon. So yes, Tiffany, maybe it's a good thing that you missed that part. A lot of people don't want to hear about these things. Good morning, Barbara. Yes, mental illness, a real thing. Linda says it does tick you off, piss you off, right? Why can people be so selfish and evil? She needed help. She did need help, but were there warning signs that were missed is what I'm wondering. Was she trying to talk about it? Did she drop hints and everybody turned a deaf ear to it? I don't know. We need to know more about the story. She needed help. Children are our most precious gift. Yes, we should cherish them. If not, give them to someone who will. I think talking about it helps. Bringing it out in the open and being vulnerable is therapeutic. Kathy, I agree. All of these things are so, so powerful. But once again, The biggest thing we can do right now is to continue to talk about it, continue to try to find a solution, continue to listen more to those around you. Maybe it's, maybe people knew her and thought, oh my gosh, I would have never seen this happening. This is my neighbor. This is my friend. This is my family member. But get out of your own way and listen a little bit more, and you might hear the cry for help that may have existed there. So that's one of the stories that I wanted to talk about today. Also, breaking overnight, this huge fire. I don't know if you saw this one. A large fire broke out at a farm in Farina, Illinois last night. The fire broke out at the Wabash Family Produce Farm. Illinois State Representative Blaine Wilhauer posted on social media that nobody was injured, but that millions, and he said millions of eggs and chickens are gone. I mean, that's devastating to their business and to the animals. Multiple crews are working to get the fire under control. Authorities are asking people to avoid Route 37 in that area. Farina, by the way, is located between Effingham, Illinois, and Mount Vernon, Illinois, near I-57. I mean, look at that thing. It's massive. So continuing to follow that and see, hopefully, if they get that under control. I don't know if that's still burning out of control or not, but a couple of those big stories in the news. All right, let's give you some sports stories about the St. Louis Cardinals. They win a 5-3 win over the Reds on the road, by the way. They continue that road series. Now they move from the Reds to the Phillies, 5:40 tonight. And then they also play on Saturday against Philadelphia. That game time will be Saturday at 6:15. How about all my St. Louis City SC fans? Huge fan, of soccer. If you haven't been to a game yet, you need to. This time, though, you'd have to travel to Miami because the two teams are playing Saturday night at 6:30. And can we just do a big thank you once again to Darius Shepard? I just adored him. He was texting me yesterday afternoon and evening, and I just such a real person, right? So Darius Shepard from the St. Louis Battlehawks joined us yesterday to talk about the season and hoping for a big win so they can get home field advantage. On Saturday, they're playing against San Antonio. They beat them earlier in the season, so hopefully the same outcome. The Battlehawks and San Antonio, 3 p.m., by the way, Saturday at the Dome. Tickets are still available. I'd love for you to support our Battlehawks. Get the tickets. They had like 33,000, he said, so they have opened up that upper bowl. Tickets are pretty inexpensive for you to go. I'm hoping, because I can't go this weekend, I'm going to have a nice little girlfriend getaway in Augusta, Missouri this weekend. Can't wait for that. Michelle and I are going to have massages and salt scrubs and facial massages and toe pebbling. Don't even know what that is, but can't wait. My husband is amazing. He wanted to thank Michelle for all the incredible work that she's done for us, and beyond every month, and saying thank you, and obviously, paying my team out. It's what else can we do? So I'm always trying to take care of her lunches and dinners when we're out together, but we wanted to go another level to say thanks, and that's what Jim did. So I love you, honey, so much. We're going to be going to Augusta, enjoying some time at the wineries, doing some hiking, a nice mental health happiness, right? Getaway, to take care of our spirit and take care of our mind. So looking forward to that, but that is the reason I can't go to the Battlehawks. So they need to win so that we can go to the Battlehawks in St. Louis the following weekend. And then hopefully that continues on. They'll be able to have the big championship. So June 9th and June 16th would be those games. The thing that bothers me most, Rose says, Monica, the moments before she shot or drowned them, the horror those poor kids must have had knowing their mother, the one that you should trust the most, is doing this. I know. That's my husband and I also drove up to the accident that took that mother and her 2 daughters on Friday. My husband and I were so upset. I don't know what I would do without God to talk to him about what's going on in life. This past week has been hard. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go there. I wasn't going to. I know Jim is so nice, Diana. He is a great guy. So excited to get pampered with my bestie. You deserve this. You deserve it, my friend. I think the Cards finally got their confidence back. Linda says, I grew up in that area. It's devastating. Deputies then went searching for a 3rd child who was a related family member. Oh, okay. They were able to locate that child alive. How do we intervene? Doug says, family, friends, or workers. We're not all trained professionals, but we need to be alert to any warning signs. Exactly, Doug. Thank you so much for weighing in. Doug, by the way, are you new to the show? Where are you watching from? Please let me know. Doug, that's exactly my point, that we need to get out of our own way. There's a lot of narcissism in our world, unfortunately, but we need to talk more. We need to communicate more. If you see somebody, if you really pay attention to people, they'll show it on their face. You can see that they're not okay, and don't let it be that way. Ask. Look at the body language, look at signs of things that they say, and ask, Are you okay? And then try to get them to talk a little bit more. Before I go to a break, Rose, I am going to go ahead and say this. My husband gave me more information about that accident that you're talking about, and this one hurt me. This one's going to be hard to talk about, but I think these are things that maybe need to be out there so that we can appreciate our families more. Because again, that woman that was in the car, that was with her children, that was in Jim's. Jim works in South County as a lieutenant with the St. Louis County Police. I think a lot of you know that. He told me that his officers are, again, speaking of mental health, they are making sure that they're okay, because when they arrived on the scene, that young girl was in the front seat, still alive. Her mother was not, from what he's telling me from the story. And that child asked the first responders to please get her out of the car because she didn't want to die. And the fire from the impact into that truck was just billowing up and billowing up. And they were doing everything they possibly can. And then it was engulfing, and they could see that there was nothing that they could do. They couldn't get her out of the seatbelt. And she must have said, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." So my husband said, can you imagine knowing what's getting ready to take place and burning? He told me that yesterday as we were driving to go see Michael Jackson, which I'll talk about here in just a second. And he's like, Monica, I can't even imagine. One, man, imagine that that's how your life goes. Two, what those first responders are now going through. So please do me a favor and remember, those are true heroes. Those men and women that are out there doing everything they can, and then they are having to deal with that. As well, he told me that the truck driver who thought that there was a shifting happening in the load of his truck, and that's why he had pulled over, he was crying, visibly upset, they said. Can you imagine living with that now, of thinking, should I have pulled over in a different area? I mean, all those things that go through your mind of thinking, could I have changed the outcome of that horrible, horrible story? Yeah. So my heart goes out to Jim's police officers and the Missouri Highway Patrol, everyone who played a part in trying to do everything they could to try to rescue them. And I just can't imagine it. And again, I think we need to realize what they do and put their lives on the line, not just their physical lives, but mental health wise, and what they deal with after those horrific stories. All right, we're a half hour into the show, and I'm going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to get a little lighter into this. I might save the perfectionism maybe for another show. We'll see. We'll talk about it. I do want to, it's more of a talker, and I think it's going to be an ongoing series that we do because it is a dangerous thing, and it leads into, I think that's probably why this happened. God wanted us to talk about mental health and depression and anxiety and fear and shame and sadness, all those things that play out. How were we raised, though? And that's a big part of today's show. Michelle, thank you for hashtagging first responders. Circle 6, Tiffany, many lives will be affected forever. I know that. All I can think is, thank God it was fast. Yeah, exactly. All right, quick break. When we come back, MJ, the musical at the Fox. I'm going to do a lighter turn here. If you haven't purchased your tickets, go on right now. Do not wait one more second. It will blow you away.
When I started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over, your entire order ships absolutely free.
$25, $25. Yes, we were able to get so much stuff. So I'm loving our new sheets, the My Pillow 2.0. I have not slept this well in a while. You know, I've been having some issues from my car accident a couple years ago. And Dr. Sean Neary, who's one of our wonderful sponsors with Mid America Spine and Rehab, said, yeah, you probably need to change out your pillow. All of you, if you're not doing well, you wake up and then you feel very restful, maybe you need to change out your pillow as well. My Pillow 2.0 is the one I recommend. It's cool. I also have the body pillow. I have lake blue and white sheets that I purchased. And a lot of you told me that you have been buying your own. So make sure that you use that code Monica Adams so that you get your discount and have those big savings as well. I mentioned it's not just pillows and sheets. They have towels. They have robes. I can't wait to start talking about my robe. Even though the weather's getting nicer, I always get cold. And did you know they have coffee? Jim got the medium roast. They have a light, a medium, and a dark roast. They've got towels for the pool or for the boating season. They've got slides for you. Everything. I mean, literally, it blows me away how many incredible products he has. MyPillow.com/Monica Adams. That's what you can do. If you go to MyPillow.com without that slash, just make sure you put in the Monica Adams code. I can't wait to see what you all get and give me some feedback after you get it as well. All right, before we get into that, let's go ahead and wrap up. Any other comments? Feel free to keep commenting. I don't want to ever silence anyone. Keep commenting. For those of you that watch the show later, drop in the comments so that we can, as a community, keep responding to each other. Circle 6 Acres. Tiffany says, Jesus said, let the little children come to me. Maybe it's to protect my mind and heart, but going fast, I'm choosing to believe they were already with him. That's beautiful. Tiffany, you're such an incredible woman. I cannot wait for our show together, just to sit down and just to try to change the world together. Waiting for Jim's review of the My Coffee. I know. I told Jim he needs to come on to the show and let us know what he thinks, because you all know I don't drink coffee. They need some tea. They need some tea for me. Okay. I used to take this picture and I used to ask everybody, the one on the left, of where am I? And people got it right away. So I don't do it anymore. But that is one of my favorite views, that upside view with your camera that you do of the ceiling of the Fabulous Fox. And can we just say how blessed we are to have the Fabulous Fox all of these decades in St. Louis, a place that my mother and father used to go to watch movies for a quarter, to go back in time, right? The simpler time. I just think life needs to slow down. We need to be happier as a nation. And just to sit there in that beautiful, massive theater and to think that people would go and watch movies, by the way, movies, not musicals, movies for a quarter. Crazy. All right. So last night, as you can see, I went to see MJ the Musical with Jim. Now I'm going to do a little review, but we are working on doing an upcoming interview to talk more in depth about it. But Jim and I had a blast. It opened up on Tuesday night and it goes all the way through next weekend. If you have not purchased your tickets, let me tell you, you need to do it. I know I say this sometimes where I'm like, oh, I really love this show. Jim and I did this nonstop throughout the entire night. And while it's a longer show, Jim got in the car and said, holy cow, that did not feel like it. So it starts at 7:30. They have an intermission. We didn't get out of there until a little bit before 10:30. And just still, I mean, again, I don't drink coffee, but this is, you would think, oh my gosh, you didn't get but maybe 5 hours of sleep. Right. But I'm just on top of the world. I'm sleeping better and just was filled with happiness from obviously a wonderful date night with my husband, but seeing a show to wrap up the season that they should be so proud of. So let me wish the gentleman who is the main cast in Michael Jackson the Musical the best, because we were supposed to interview him, Roman is his name, on Tuesday. After I got off the show, we were supposed to interview him at 11 o'clock. Well, Megan, who I work with and I love, Megan Ketcherside at the Fabulous Fox, she works in the media department. She called me right away and said, I hate to do this, but he was sick. So I don't know if he is maybe they're sharing, because the gentleman who was the alternate was actually playing last night. And so I don't know if they have different nights and if they have, afternoon matinee shows, if they switch out. I'm going to look a little bit deeper into that when we do our interview. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to be doing an interview with one of the tour dancers. And I was trying to figure out when I was looking at all the dancers, who she was. I think I have figured it out because she plays a dancing part in one of the Isley Brothers scenes, which you'll see. If you're a fan of Motown, Jackie Wilson, Fred Astaire, there's all these things that play out in it. Tell me what your favorite Michael Jackson song. Julie Fabian, by the way, was there, so she can give you a little bit more of her review as well. Carrie Patterson, are you new to the show? She said, I was at MJ last night as well, and it was amazing. All right. I wish you all could speak and you actually could get on here and talk to me instead of just typing. But these are all things I'm hoping that we can look at in the future of what else could we do to bring you all on board with us. Michelle says the Fabulous Fox is absolutely amazing. Julie, what did you love most? Okay, so they go to, I don't want to spoil things, but they go to the intermission. And when they come back, I mean, here's what's probably going to take place of every night that the show is there until not this weekend, but next weekend. So there's a good run of this for you to get your tickets. There are people that are shouting things out. Is that what you experienced, Julie, in the audience that you just felt like they thought they were at a Michael Jackson concert? They kept going, "Go, Mike, go, Michael." You go, all these things that they were screaming. We would laugh at that. I'm surprised. And then, of course, it did not break character for the actors. They're so amazing. But you feel like you are there. The dancing is mind blowing. I mean, you think about how incredible he was, the king of pop. The dancing, not just by him, but all of the actors that are on stage is reminiscent of what you saw in the music videos from MTV. And by the way, that's one of the things that plays out, that MTV was awarded the opportunity to follow him along to get ready for his Dangerous tour. So if you remember that and how much pressure was put on him, not just then, but what it does, it takes you back. It's not anything after that tour. It's everything before, and it goes back and forth. So you see younger Michael Jackson, you see Michael Jackson during the time of getting ready for that. I completely forgot. Do you remember the story about him getting second-degree burns during shooting the Pepsi commercial? And then they throw in some funny things where he was like, "I don't even drink Pepsi." So you're going to have laughter. You're going to have endearing moments. You're going to think again about the mental health side of what he was going through and the pressures that were put on him and his brothers with the Jackson 5, and how he goes back and forth and the turmoil that you can feel in him. What else did you feel, Julie? So yes, Julie says they thought they were at a concert. Didn't you? I mean, I really did. I thought I never got a chance to see Michael in concert, but I'm feeling like it is right now. Julie, that was the alternate. I'm pretty sure, because I looked at the pictures in the playbill and I said, well, this isn't Roman. This wasn't the guy that we were interviewing. This is the alternate. So I can't imagine the guy who's actually cast to play the main role that wasn't playing last night. That guy was unbelievable. And what I now have felt is that I want to get tickets and go again if I know that Roman is better and that he's actually performing. So I need to speak with Megan today to say, is Roman okay? And is he going to be able to perform? Or did he maybe perform on Tuesday? I have a feeling maybe not. Maybe they're resting him and they have the alternate playing, and then maybe they're waiting for Roman like to go into this weekend. I don't know. But when you go, by the way, let me know who plays the main role of Michael Jackson for you, because we had the alternate and he was not an alternate to me. That guy was made for that role. Don't you agree? All the dancers, Julie says. Do they do the Thriller dance? Well, should I tell you? Yes, of course they do. And they do a little sprinkle in before the intermission, and then you see it getting ready to come up. When I saw the set coming down, and let me talk about that. Let me talk about the costumes and the set design, the production quality. I mean, we should be so proud that this has come to St. Louis. I have chills right now. I just wish I could transcend you and take you to last night. I can't, so you have to get tickets. I'm sure both MJs are awesome, Julie says. Yes, they do the Thriller dance. Yes, they do Beat It. They do the older songs from the Jackson 5. But tell me, what is your faith? What is your faith? What faith is such a big part of this, because he talks about faith and shame and perfectionism and all of those things that he plays out. So the perfectionism, by the way, when I did my book report when I was in grade school, I found out more about his father. I found out more about their upbringing in Gary, Indiana. In no way is he not going to thank his parents for providing them the opportunity to do what they did, but it was the immense amount of pressure that was put on them at such a young age. And I get it. They're saying that other people out there, what they said many times was, if you think that you have reached the pinnacle and that you don't need to keep practicing, you don't need to keep doing this, but they were exhausted, and it was more, do more. We got to be perfect. He kept using the word perfect. You must be perfect. So we do have time. So for the next 20 minutes, tell me, when you hear that as a child, or you say it as a parent, What kind of message are you putting out there? What kind of message are they receiving? And I don't care that we're talking about the entertainment side. I'm asking you all to look a little bit deeper, because I think what ended up happening today is that we turned it into family. We turned it into faith. What happens when you hear more of the pressures of perfectionism? What do you think that does? Okay, this is where I want you to weigh in. What do you think that does to a young child's mind? Because we had this, by the way, in the story that I did with Travis Snyder about a week or so ago. He's with 3A Athletics, and it's the same mentality. The perfectionism that you're trying to put on your children in youth sports, and the anger that plays out in the minds of families and parents and coaches, right? This is the same thing. The perfectionism that Michael Jackson and the entire family, what was put on them to perform to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, because he kept saying that you're not going to get the chances that you are wanting because you're Black. He kept saying that as well. And he's like, there's other young Black boys that are going to want to be in your exact place. You got to do more. And when they said, can we have a break? No. So Julie says, only God is perfect. Yes, so much pressure. Terry says, makes them defensive and rebel. What do you think? Tell me. I'm going to look over at Instagram, and Cobert 416 said, obviously, this has to do with what we were talking about earlier. Obviously, had behavioral health issues and needed help. Lots of prayers for the children's family. That had to do with the story that we were talking about earlier. If you're watching on Instagram, know that I will bounce back and forth there. I will go to my my X page. People are also watching us on Rumble. Oh, Cool Down St. Louis. What a great organization. They're watching us right now on X, along with anybody else that's on X right now. I want you to keep spreading the word that we are on multiple platforms, because there are people who can't be on Facebook, or they never made a Facebook account. Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, and Rumble, and we'll continue to build the platforms. I always am asking you, if there's a platform that we're not on that you would like for us to be on, please let me know, and we will work on getting that underway. Thursdays, by the way, today, in about 19 minutes, we will drop a new audio podcast. So if you have not yet, please listen. So sometimes you don't need to see, you just need to hear the message. That rock star attitude, the rock star mentality. We are going to drop that show. If you didn't get a chance to hear that one with Mark and Heather, wonderful show. It was awesome. He, by the way, was the drummer for Pink. Yeah. And Cher and so many others. But getting closer and closer to my connection to Pink. I'm still trying to get some way to, I don't know if I get a chance to interview her, but meet her. I got to meet that woman. I just love everything about her. I'm sure she has the perfection mentality. I do. Trust me. I've had to try to break that over the years, but every once in a while, I get back into it, and the pressures I put on myself. Absolutely an extreme perfectionist. I always was, in my field, in relationships, in who I am as a friend, and who I am as a daughter, and who I am as a sister. I'm asking you, when you put that type of pressure on yourself, what does it do to you? It can spiral out of control. And some of these deep, dark things that we're talking about in the news, I really do think come from aspects of what happens. I was telling Jim last night, he's like, wow, Michael was really just a big child, wasn't he? Because when these dark subjects gets talked about, and they were talking about obviously his problems with painkillers and the overprescription of what had happened to him, and how people around him, by the way, they were out of their own way. What you'll see play out on stage is that they kept saying, is there an issue here? The girl who plays the reporter for MTV, she's listening in to the discussions that are happening between his family and his friends and his tour managers, et cetera. And they're talking about, hey, Michael, should you be using all those pills? Well, it was to numb the physical pain, but I'm sure it was also the mental pain that he dealt with. You can see the demons that played out. It is really a powerful show. It's a teaching show. It is a thinking show. It is a laughter show. It is a get out of your seat, I want to dance show. And yes, all the choreography that you remember from Michael Jackson is played out. And I'm telling you, it does not at all feel like you're at a musical and that you're watching a musical play out at the Fox. You feel like you are at a Michael Jackson concert. That man, and I'm sure Roman as well, I'm sure they're both incredible, play the role to a T that you feel like Michael Jackson has been brought back. Makes them defensive and rebel. That was the last thing Terry said about perfectionism. Pamela said, it's okay to want the best for your children, your grandchildren, etc., but you can push too hard. Yes, I didn't do that to my kids. Good, Pamela. Terry says a lot of pressure put on them. Kathy says, if we were all perfect, we wouldn't need a savior. God is God, we are not. What a powerful comment. If you're just tuning in, by the way, the Real Monica Adams Show, real world topics that we talk about, fun things we discuss, heartbreaking things we discuss. This last 45 minutes has been fast because we've been talking about so many things. We bring as much as we can to you in an hour's time. Before I forget, by the way, we are going to have some fun. I'm going to need a little break from the heartache that took place today. I want you to come if you can. I'd love to meet you. For all of you that have supported me over the last 30 years in TV and radio and have supported my show when I went out on my own, come tonight. I'd love, even if you can just stop by real quick and say, Monica, I can't stay for dinner. Or maybe you do that. Maybe you come by, place your order in advance and grab some food to go. Bring it home to your family. Maybe you bring your family to the restaurant. Firefly Grill, 4 p.m. We've got a second show today in Chesterfield. We're going to sit down with Christy Prosser Hall. We're going to sample some of the food. We're going to talk about that entrepreneurial spirit of woman-owned business. That is tonight. That is one of our mobile Monicas, or I should say this afternoon. Come to that, and then also put this one on your calendar and support Julie Ingold, the owner of Sunset Overlook. That's going to be another mobile Monica on June 13th. That's going to be a fun one. That's an evening show, a 7:00 show. We're going to have music, of course, wine, because it's a big Overlook wine place, good food, laughter. Again, the balance in life that we need. But I hope to see you. How many of you are going to come by today? All right, just Chesterfield. Make it happen, folks. Make it happen. Make the time for yourself. Luann, way too much pressure put on kids. And yourself, by the way. God is the only perfect one. Yes, the perfectionism mentality, I'm telling you, it's a dangerous thing. I want you all to weigh in on a little bit more. And while I'm doing your comments, I want you to look at this. I brought this up because I want you to look at it deeply about what it's like when you put the idea of perfectionism too deeply into your life and the lives of those that are watching you on a daily basis. Again, the little sponges of the children. Terry says they might not truly enjoy the sport or talent that they have, and they go through the motions to please others, not themselves. Yeah, interesting. All very good comments. Sean, good morning to you. Sean, Dr. Sean Neary from Mid-America Spine and Rehab. We talked about you earlier. Crystal, yes, Crystal's coming by with some friends. I know that for a fact. But again, how many of you are coming by to say hi tonight or this afternoon at Firefly? So look at this. What is it like having high standards, which are difficult to achieve or maintain over time? High standards are a great thing, but it's never thinking that it's enough, right? It's right there on the top at 12 o'clock. Having high standards, which are difficult to achieve or maintain over time. That is one of the things of what it's like to try to achieve perfectionism. Harshly criticizing yourself when you don't meet your standards so that you're never happy. You look in the mirror and you're just ripping yourself apart. Fearing failure or feeling like you always fail. Discounting achievements that you see as less than perfect. Again, remember, you will never reach perfectionism. And before, the sooner you realize that, the easier maybe it will be on your spirit. Avoiding or postponing tasks where there's a risk that you might fail. So you don't even get into them because you think, I'm not going to be good enough. Sacrificing your interest, your relationships, or rest to strive and achieve. Pushing yourself to the point of feeling depressed and overwhelmed or exhausted. I mean, gosh, it's a constant cycle of exhaustion. Trust me, I've been there. Judging your self-worth mainly in terms of your successes and achievements in life. All of these things that start out when you're a young child that should never be starting out. They're trying to be children. I mean, I'm talking a young age. And what I fear is all the things that happen with social media and parents probably pushing their kids. I can guarantee you it's taking place. Don't you agree that they're saying, hey, go make us some money? Because now you get all these kids that are able to. There's no child labor laws, evidently, on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and all the other things that they're on. It's just go, post videos, become an influencer, make money on the side, then actually be a kidpreneur and start making money for the family. You don't think that's pressure? They never even know what a childhood is. And going back to the MJ the musical, one of the things that Jim said, it was an aha moment for him. He heard his father, Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5's father, when they were preparing for different shows. As he was growing up a little bit, and he said, look at you. He's like, look at your big nose, and you've got more bumps on your face or something like that. It looks like pepperoni, whatever it was. But he's going off on his child. And so you wonder if that played into him having his nose done, transforming and changing. All of these rumors that were out there saying that he bleached his skin, that he did this, that he did that, and that he was trying to not be what he saw himself as a child. He came back and dispelled all those. And he said he actually started some of them just to be funny, again claiming that he never did bleach his skin, but if you heard, he had a skin pigmentation issue, which I believe is his sister Letitia had as well. So according to what you see on the show and what you probably have read, that was never true. And that also from the nose aspect, that a lot of that had to do with the facial reconstruction that took place after he was burned from filming that Pepsi commercial. So you can believe it or not believe it, but we don't know. We can't talk to him. He's not here any longer. We read what we read. Do you believe everything that you read? Is that even plays out? Everything you read out there, does that mean that it's true? I just think there was such high standards pushed on these kids back then and now, and maybe even more so now. And I'm trying to break that cycle because it's a really dangerous one. I need you to understand what you're doing. I know that you want your kid to be the best in their sports, the best as a dancer, the best in their school play. We all do, right? And we want that for ourselves. But did you hear what I said? I didn't say we want your child to be perfect. I said we want to be the best. I, of course, wanted the lead role in my plays when I was in second and third grade. I remember playing the exterminator in one of the plays. My mom, if she sees us, would laugh. And I was like, oh, I don't remember what the lead role was, but I appreciated what I had and I gave it my all. And then I got Mrs. Santa Claus. I was able to play one of the leads in a play when I was growing up. All of these things that really introduced me to the arts at a very, very young age. So we look back at what we did back then, and we shouldn't say, I tried to be perfect. Instead, you say, I gave my best. I gave my all. So my parents never pushed perfectionism, but they did instill, have high standards. The main thing that I appreciate from my mom, who is calling right now, that's why I silenced it, is Monica, always do your best and have class. So when you walk out the door, always remember that you are presenting yourself to somebody new and it's first impressions. And also, one of the things that I live by from one of the 4 agreements in the book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, is to be impeccable with your word. You never want to be saying things that people will come back and go, gosh, so-and-so, all they constantly do is bash somebody else, or they're talking bad. You've probably heard before to get up from a table and walk away. And if you think those people are going to continue to talk about you and bash you, that table is not for you. Think about that. It's a really powerful statement. I don't know who said it, but it is the people at those those tables really are not your people. If you are in any way thinking that as soon as you get up, they're talking about you. Why do you know that? Because if you come back to the table, somebody else gets up and you talk and they talk about them, trust me, they're talking about you, right? So we got to find your right people. Find the people that lift you up, that will support you in life, but don't push you so hard that you're a shell of yourself. You don't even know who you are anymore. Jana says you've accomplished all of that, my friend. Well, then I have achieved everything I have set out to do. But see, I'm not done. And so that's where sometimes the pressures on myself can be a little much and I get exhausted and I'm working way, way late into the evening. But that's what happens when you have your own business, right? Anybody who knows that when you get out of the corporate world and you're not working for the man and the woman anymore, you're working for yourself. You're providing for others that are working for you. And you're hoping that one of the things I knew is I was never going to be a critical boss. I was going to lift up. I have an extreme amount of patience. I think that was taught from my mom. And I think anybody who's ever worked for me, worked with me, would always say, thank you for lifting me up. I ran into an old reporter of mine who was a part-time reporter. And this is the thing that I absolutely love. I'll give you this story. He had a stuttering problem and he was so mad at me. I think I've told this before. He was so mad at me because I told him that he was going to go on and he was going to be my reporter to go cover this breaking news story. And he's like, I can't go on air. And I said, but you can. No, I can. I remember hearing that he was mad. I believed in him. And in life, that's really what we need. As a parent and a grandparent, a godmother, an aunt, an uncle, I don't care what role you play, take it and understand just how important it is. But also understand what you are doing as a detriment. You should instead take it, pause for a second, meditate, pray on it, so that you can find the right words to lift someone up. I believed in him. And he is now in a very high role, by the way, at KMOX. Saw him last night. I didn't get a chance to say hi. Normally he was across the way, but I just smile every time I see him because it takes me back to our time at WIL when I was a news director. And I had a handful of reporters, full-time, part-time. I had a handful of interns. And I just look back at that thinking, Monica, what did you do for their careers? And I can smile and say that every one of them have come back to me, whether they were an intern or a full-time reporter, and have all said, you were the most incredible boss because you lifted us up. You gave us opportunities. You didn't demean us. And that kind of plays out right now with our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, who we will have on with us again tomorrow with our What the Weather segment. I don't treat him as a 14-year-old kid. I just see incredible talent in him. And I think the reason that he loves being on our show so much and providing the weather to each and every one of you is because he feels that he's a part of the team. And he is. When I text him and I send him pictures and I'm interacting with him, I don't talk down to him like he's a child. I don't even think of him like that. I really, truly see him as a pro already in his profession, the profession he's not even in yet. He's not even in high school yet. I mean, it just blows my mind because I can't imagine just how incredible he's going to be. So see that? See how we're going to wrap up the show this way of happiness, smiling, finding our way to be more of that spirit, the lifting up spirit, the friend, the partner, the child, whatever role you play of someone saying, I need more of that in life. We need more of that so we can get to the hard problems in the world. If we again, like my mom taught me, if we provide more of this first to people, but we also tell people when we're struggling, find your people so that when there are hard times that you're going through, that you can trust, that you can lean on them. And by the way, that circle might be smaller. You may not have this layers and layers and layers of friends. And that's probably a good thing because when you can squeeze it down to this, those are your people that are really going to be there for you. And I know that you're going to be there for them. That's going to help more in the world. Yes, Kathy says encouragement and valuing others. Jana says, I think about the end of your show a lot. All the people who talk about how you lift others up. What a kind and loving person you are. Wish I had the chance to do that myself for you. Everybody does. You do, by the way. All of you that tune in every morning, don't you understand that I wouldn't have the show if you weren't watching? We've had about 40, 45, 50 people at any given point popping on and off. The live show is one component. How can you help? You take this show, you write something that you really think is profound in today's show, and you say, at this point, be sure to listen. If you can't listen to the whole show, at least listen to this message. Because I know some people can't listen to a full hour show, a long format show. They might take it in increments. Maybe they can watch 10 minutes at a time and finally watch the whole show, but they need your assistance. Maybe if you've watched the whole thing that you say, this point right here, you've got to listen to. Maybe it's a friend or family member that's suffering right now with mental health and they need to hear something. Please, by the way, look into those hotlines that exist for you because there are great organizations, but you do help. Not only you, but all of our sponsors, as I posted earlier and are right now, Invita Health and Wellness, Mid-America Spine and Rehab, Yuppie Puppy Pet Spa, Defiance Ridge Vineyards, Just Pools in Arnold, by the way, one of our newest sponsors coming on starting next week. And I'm already just thanking her because I love her. We did our segment with them a few weeks back. We did a mobile Monica from Just Pools on the West Outer Road in Arnold, but she's coming on with us for the rest of the year. She believes in us. Mike Lindell, our newest sponsor from My Pillow. And I would love to bring more and more regular sponsors and mobile. Understand something. If people can't be a monthly sponsor, they can have us out one time and then maybe they do it again later in the year for Mobile Monicas. They are a big part of ensuring that this show continues. Again, all of you play a massive role in this. So Mobile Monica, live from your business or a friend or family members, let them know the next opportunity could be at your place. I'm working really hard on getting more and more. We have our regular ones, again, the Positive Talk Time. Next week, Jessica's actually going to be away with her father, talk about family time, spending incredible time in Spain, I believe she's going to be. And so we're going to talk with some of her employees, a trainer, as well as an employee of hers, I think that's been there for over a decade, or no, probably 2 decades now, that's been with her, and talk about that longevity. I mean, that speaks volumes. She, by the way, Jessica Cook, the owner, was just a boss babe yesterday. I think she spoke at a chamber meeting and was one of the entrepreneurial messages. So congratulations, Jessica, my friend. I love you. And congratulations to all the dogs that you've gotten adopted out. Please support them for grooming, for boarding, for daycare, you name it. when you think of taking care of your dog, think of them. And then when you think of getting family and friends together to relax and have some fun at a winery, think of Defiance Ridge. We didn't do Wet Your Whistle yesterday. We took a little pause from that. We will be back with that in June, and then leading up to July when we have the big getting ready for the 4th of July concert. If you haven't purchased your tickets for this one yet, please do so. Ruby Lee, live in concert, July 4th at Defiance Ridge. Stick around for the wonderful fireworks because it's going to be a blast. And I can't wait to see Ruby. She's just such a doll. Well, everybody, again, a lot discussed today. It'll make you think. I want you to, sit with it. If you need to journal about some of the things that we talked about today, do so. Pamela says, totally agree. Small groups are sometimes the best. They are. 100% agree. You need more of that. That's where you see where your real friends are. Everybody just be you. Michelle said, I grew up with a narcissist who forced perfectionism on myself and my mother. 13 years. He definitely suffered from mental illness, but of course he was perfect in his mind. Still don't know how we got out of there alive. God was watching over us. What a powerful thing. Michelle, thank you for putting that out there. Thank you for being so real. I love the teaching of Mr. Rogers, Kathy says. I like you just the way you are. What a beautiful way. I mean, drop the mic there. What a beautiful thing to say. For all of you on all of our platforms, thank you so much. Right now, we are dropping on the audio podcast, again, the Rockstar Attitude, Mark Schulman and Heather Kreider. That is an opportunity for you to continue on and hear more positive messages. So let me think if there's anything that I want to leave you with. Yeah, let's give you the forecast one more time because you may have missed that. I always want to make sure that you have the final things that you need. And this is kind of how we would always wrap up the news anyway. 81 for your high. Get out and enjoy it today. Take a walk. That helps you with your mental health. 61 for a low tonight and 82 for your high tomorrow. Grab the umbrellas. You can see a stretch of rain. Not a constant thing, but chances of it as you go from Friday in through Wednesday of next week. But we'll see if Beckett's forecast mirrors that and if he agrees with that, by the way. 4 o'clock. Let's see as many of you as possible. 4 o'clock, again, Firefly Grill in the Chesterfield Valley. I would absolutely love to see you there. And then tomorrow, I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that we get an opportunity. I don't think it's going to be live. It would be a taped interview that I'd play next week with one of the dancers from MJ the Musical. Buy your tickets, buy your tickets, buy your tickets. I can't say it enough. You will regret it if you do not purchase those. I'm going to wrap up with our Jesus Calling in just a second. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com. All right, everyone. Thank you again so much for tuning in for this hour. I appreciate it. Share this show with as many as you possibly can. Let's continue to build up our following on Facebook. We have almost 28,000 followers on my business page. We've got about 6,000 on my personal page. We want to keep building up our Instagram following, our X following, our Rumble following. So get on all the platforms. It's May 30th. We're almost going into a brand new month into this weekend. I can't believe it's already June. So let's do Jesus Calling. Every day he is there calling out to you. Let's see if this one fits the theme from today. Time with me cannot be rushed. When you are in a hurry, your mind flitters back and forth between me and the tasks ahead of you. Push back the demands pressing in on you. Create a safe space around you, a haven in which you can rest with me. I also desire this time of focused attention, and I use it to bless you, strengthening and equipping you for the day ahead. Thus, spending time with me is a wise investment. Bring me the sacrifice of your precious time. This creates sacred space around you, space permeated with my presence and my peace. If you want to go deeper into those, Psalm 119:27, 2 Chronicles 16, verse 9, and Hebrews 13, verse 15. Thank you, by the way, so much to Marilyn for providing these books to us and we're already going into June. The next time we are here at the house, we'll be reading from the June excerpts from Jesus Calling. Beautiful show today. Thank you again for weighing in. It's a big part of the show. I know it's through your comments, and sometimes you feel like you have to add more and more and more. Please do so. Love you all so much. I hope to see you in a handful of hours in Chesterfield. Firefly Grill is where we will be, and it's going to be fun. Good food. I'd love to have dinner with you, happy hour with you, share a drink with you. Just enjoy some time together. We all need that. We need a little bit more happiness. And for those of you that said that you wanted to give me a hug, we'll come in person. Give me a hug. I would love to see each and every one of you. If you can't, just know today's a day to shift patterns in your life. Take the perfectionism mentality off of yourself and off of your family. Do me a favor and send some prayers out to my mom. I'm getting ready to leave here and go meet up with her. She's got one final test to make sure we take care of that beautiful heart of hers. Love you all. And I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. Go out and spread the love and the sincerity to each and every person that you meet. And the biggest thing is to be kind. God bless you all.